How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. Today we are here at my desk. This is where I edit most of my videos. But today I want to talk about 60% keyboards and why they are so important to improve your workflow. First of all, I used to be an electrical engineer and I've been at the computer for a really long time. And probably every few years or so, I realized something new that improves my workflow. Skylong provided me with these mechanical keyboards to test out, so just beware of this. This is not a Skylong keyboard over here. In fact, it's an older one that I already have. First thing you want to figure out is, do you need mechanical keys? To me, if you spend a few hours a day on a computer, you really do need it because it does improve your typing skills. It improves your typing speed a lot. Second, I used to use a keyboard that has the number pad right here. Now I have this keyboard positioned dead center. In other words, between the G and H key, it's dead center to my monitor. If my monitor was up here, the center of that monitor would align with the center of these keys. This is how I like to use my keyboard. When you do this, you have these page up, page down, and the arrow keys sitting right here between your keyboard and your mouse. When you try to move the full motion of your mouse to the very left of the screen, you hit the keyboard. Also, when you're typing something and sometimes you want to use the cursor, you have to move a further distance to the mouse in order to move the mouse. So let's say this part is gone and your mouse was a little bit closer to the keyboard, then you can be a little bit more efficient because when you take your hands off of the keyboard and move to the mouse, you can end right here where the mouse would have been if this piece of the keyboard was not there. So this is the reasoning for going with a shorter keyboard, a 60% keyboard. This is a 60% keyboard. So I'm gonna put it right next to here, and this is the Skylong one. This is in white, and this has brown mechanical switches. As you can see, the keyboard ends right here is as if I've lopped off this whole part of the previous keyboard and there are no function keys. So let me put this aside, and now we're gonna use this one, and I'm gonna center this right in front of where it used to be. Between the G and H key, it's where the monitor is right dead at the center here. So you can see this is a lot more aligned, and this space kind of opens up so that I can move my mouse more easily like that. But I was using this keyboard for a while and I realized that there are no arrow keys. I use the arrow keys quite often. So instead of having arrow keys right on this keyboard, what you have to end up doing is you press a function key, and this is the up, down, left, right. And if you use the arrow keys enough, you don't want to keep on kind of overloading your keys, having to press two keys instead of one, because sometimes you just want to go like that, right? Instead, you have to hold this key and then press this one. And this is sort of unacceptable if you use the arrow keys a lot. So everything about this keyboard is great, and this little discomfort I have with this keyboard could just very well be personal preferences. But I really wanted to explain to you guys why I don't like this particular version of this keyboard. Now this is the SK61 version. Let's go on to this different one. This is the SK71 version. In other words, it has 71 keys. This one is not bad because this is brown switches as well. And right here, we got the up, down, left, right arrow keys. And we also have the number pad. But then this number pad extends it a little bit longer. It's not completely gone. So if you compare it to the one before, you see it's like about 2/3 of it is cut off, but not all the way. So if this number pad is really important to you, this is a good compromise. However, when I started using this keyboard, I wanted to press the question mark key. The question mark key is right here. This is overloaded. Normally in your regular keyboard, you just press shift question mark. Now what we gotta do is press function shift question mark, because this is two keys in one. It's been overloaded. So you got to press the function key before you can access these two, the question mark and /. So this one, function key, and this is /, function key shift, this is question mark. The other gripe I have with this keyboard is also when I press the numbers now they're lined up. You see the 7 is lined up with the U. With the typical keyboard, the 7 is about half offset to the left of the U over here. So this throws me off a little bit. Because I'm so used to the typical keyboard layout, my ring finger automatically goes right here to press the 9. So because this is offset a little bit, I mess up a little bit. So to get used to this, yes, you can get used to this keyboard, but if you get used to this keyboard and you go back to a standard one, let's say you use someone else's computer, you're gonna get thrown off yet again. So you really don't want to change the way that you learn how to use a keyboard. You want to use a standard layout and nothing even a little bit different, like this weird number key over here. So this is why I would not get this SK71 layout version. Let's move on to the third one. The third one over here, this is the SK64. This one they sent me has 64 keys. Let's compare it to the previous one. I like this one because this one has the up, down, left, right arrow keys right built into the keyboard. It's not overloaded. It also has the question mark. I can just push question mark like that. I don't mind that the shift button is a little bit smaller because, you know, I can access it just fine. But the drawback to this keyboard is that the mechanical switches are the red type. There is no tactile feedback here. If I press down, I don't know when I have hit the keys. There's no feeling. This is a linear key, so there's not going to be like a little bumpy feeling. However, with the brown switches, I can feel like a tiny little bump. As soon as that little bump goes through, I know I've hit the key. Now, what does it mean for these keyboards here? I like the shortness of these keyboards, but I don't like that this one doesn't have the arrow key. So this goes over here. I don't want it. This keyboard has the number pad, which I don't absolutely need. So this is a bit too big. This one has red keys, but I like the layout. And I also want it in white. So I can't use any of these. But I can combine aspects of each of these keyboards into one and make possibly a keyboard that I want. When you power it up, this is a wired keyboard, by the way, and I prefer wired keyboards because I don't want to keep on loading batteries into the keyboard every 6 months or so. The cool thing about this keyboard is that you can remove the keycaps. You can see this key is actually an optical key and it is removable, which is really, really strange to me that you can remove it. Here is the key itself. You can see there's like a little piece of plastic that comes down and blocks the optical beam that's in the keyboard over here. You see that light over there is an RGB light. That is what gives you the little backlight color. Now in the PCB, there is one optical emitter and one receiver. There's a beam that goes across this. When the beam goes through, there is no press. When you push a button, this plastic piece comes down and blocks the optical light, and then it registers a button press. Now what's good about this optical stuff? I've actually had dome switches fail on me, even though I just used it a few years. Mechanical switches, although they can last a few million cycles, they do fail still because you are relying on two metal pieces contacting together. If you got dust, if you got a little bit of moisture or something, those two contacts, even if they touch together, they're not going to register a contact and you're going to start to see mechanical keys fail. Optical keys, however, has an advantage of there is no mechanical contact. It's just optical beams going through. If you block it, you're going to block it, and you can block it any number of times and you're not going to be able to wear it out. So technically the diode would reduce in intensity after long usage. However, the rated number of cycles that you can press this is likely longer than a regular mechanical switch. When I'm using a mechanical keyboard like this one, I can't actually tell the difference just how in terms of speed or anything. But you can see it's all the rage these days, and it actually, this does not cost all that much more. So what's gonna happen now that I have these three and I have components of each one of them that I like, I'm gonna turn this keyboard into a white keyboard with brown switches, just kind of steal components from all of them, combine them into a keyboard I do want. So now this keyboard is white. It has 64 keys. It has the arrow keys over here. It has the optical brown switches in it. So basically everything is perfect, except I have to improvise, and the color's a little off here because these 4 keys over here and these darker keys and the red keys is not the original white color, because when you change the key configuration, the keycaps are a little different. But functionality wise, it works really well. I've used it for a few hours already. I was not frustrated in using this. And also I can put the keyboard right dead in the center, and my mouse now has all this freedom to go left and right. It has more space and everything is just right now. Thanks for watching this review. I will put all the links to these Skylon keyboards, all 4 different permutations or whatever that you want. There'll be affiliate links down in the video description below. Don't forget to give me a like, comment down below. Let me know if you think the same way about these mechanical keyboards and the configuration. I know this is very user specific and this is kind of like nitpicky on my part, but it's important to have it exactly the way that you want so that your workflow can be very fast. And as always, don't forget to push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.